Should this book be banned? A new Russian law says yes, if it depicts same-sex relationships positively. Introduced a month ago, this law criminalises the positive portrayal of non-heteronormative relationships in advertising, films, books and the media. The new legislation is creating unrest amongst publishers, film distributors and authors. This library in Moscow has already been told to pull quite a few books from its shelves.
In our electric catalog, there are now books with the entry, "Borrowing is no longer permitted." It's unclear why these particular books were selected.
Last December, the Duma, the Russian parliament, voted to toughen its so-called gay propaganda law. Critics complain that the criteria used to decide whether a certain work breaks the law are too vague. However, the target appears to be clear. It's an attack on what are ostensibly Western values. That's how the Russian human rights activist Igor Kochechkov sees it.
This is primarily anti-Western rhetoric. The assertion is that the West is imposing certain values on us, and that something must be done about that.
And the chairman of the State Duma has some sharp words for the West.
Stop forcing alien values upon us. You've already destroyed your own. Who knows where it will end?
For Kochechkov, it's no surprise that this legislation has been passed during the Russian war on Ukraine.
The timing is obvious. The authorities want to push through their idea that the country is not fighting against Ukraine, but against the West as a whole, the US and the EU. They're trying to mobilize citizens and to convince them that they are our enemies.
Gays and lesbians are repeatedly victims of violence in Russia. Often, they are discriminated against by the state. There is, for example, a ban on LGBTQ symbols or holding public assemblies under the rainbow banner. While same-sex relationships as such were decriminalised in Russia back in 1993, critics say that the so-called gay propaganda law is stoking homophobia in the country.
It sends certain signals and raises the question, how will things develop? Will these people be sent to penal colonies at some point, or even murdered?
The activist Igor Kochechkov doesn't think that things will get to that point, though, but he is certain that the Russian government is hell-bent on turning back the clock to Soviet times.